Welcome back to Illiterate Book Club. I'm John.
I am Matt.
And we are going to do our review of episode 6
Yes.
of The Witcher. And this has been a fun series. We've been watching these like back to back.
Yeah.
And so we just watched episode 6. And before we get into this, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, do all the stuff.
We appreciate you watching these. And we're a big fan of this series.
Yeah.
And we appreciate the conversation about it with everybody who's also a fan.
Yeah, this is like really... I'm going to do it this time. I'm going to take up phonics. And
I'm going to read
these.
It is.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's really good.
I mean, I've heard great things about these books, but this show is really fun.
Yeah.
And so I like the world.
Yeah, for sure. So this one, I think, it kind of, this episode kind of followed Ciri quite a bit more than
it was a mix. Like, it wasn't like, the story with Geralt wasn't a huge event.
Yeah.
And not like episode 4 where it was like this big plot moment.
Right.
But what I like about this series that they've done really well and some other series don't do too well, which is this took a storyline which wasn't plugged directly into the main plot, but it still fed you important details about both the world and things about the development that's going on. Like the campfire scene where they're sitting around and they're talking about Nilfgaard, like their uprising,
right, that they're starting to take over.
Yeah, and so it's like there's rumors and all these stories going around, and so you kind of get the idea of the political shift that's happening in the world at large. That's gonna be what's essentially happening in what we'd call the current time series timeline.
Yeah, exactly. So that's interesting. Like I just like how this entire story is being told. I kind of called the dragon part.
You did about the gold dragon.
Yeah, I kind of thought that was gonna be a thing, but
I thought that was a pretty good like twist on it. Like I knew there was something weird about him, but not knowing the world and not knowing that dragons had these abilities. Yeah, it was kind of a neat twist.
Yeah,
to me.
It was really cool. I felt like I knew what that was going to be, and I said it, but I didn't look back at him because I knew you'd already seen the episode, so I didn't want to ruin it for myself. But yeah, I thought this entire episode was really good. I think you kind of got a little bit more, we were just talking into the Ciri character about, you're just starting to get more and more talkings around her to kind of get an idea of what she is.
At least you get the bigger sense of her specialness.
Yeah, for sure.
And so the other thing for me is you got Geralt and Yennefer's relationship developed, and so you get the sense that they've met several times now. Yeah. And again, it's one of those things where it would have been really cool for maybe a couple more episodes, or as a story, maybe it's in the books that you actually see those intervening points of contact between them, and you get that, like, you get a fuller development of their relationship. And this one,
I feel like it's getting a little rushed now.
A little bit,
because it went from last week's
they met the first time to now they're like they have this relationship that's been developed now. Right, you're right. And I get what they're doing given the scope of this season and where they're going to take it. But, that was my one complaint about this series, is this storyline feels like it's been fast-forwarded a little bit more than I would have liked to have seen.
Right, I see what they're doing as far as skipping around in time. But I guess I wish, even if they wouldn't have skipped ahead, or where they are skipping ahead to, I guess I wish that they would have been 1 or 2 encounters back. Does that make sense? Right, and we would have got this encounter, or at least version of their relationship.
Yeah, and to go with what we talked about is if instead of bringing Yennefer in at the beginning of her story, like bringing her in with their first meeting, and spending those little couple extra episodes of like developing Yennefer and Geralt's relationship, right? And then maybe the next season you bring in her backstory or something like that, which I could see that, but again. I think they're staying true to their focus. I mean, they're not overdoing it too much. They're, given the nature of the story they're telling, I think it's been going well.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, obviously we're digging this series. Like I'm reviewing this episode, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, let me stop reviewing this episode because I want to watch the next episode.
Want to go on to 7?
Right.
7. Okay, let's cover. So the big thing here is, I think the last episode you were complaining about that guy, the shapeshifter,
not knowing everything
and not knowing. But in this one, it seems like he does know in some way.
Yeah.
Or at least he knows enough that.
He picked up on something.
He picked up on something. He didn't kill her. He actually took her place.
Right.
And then attacked the king who had been pursuing her.
Okay, so I didn't catch that part at first.
Right. When he gets captured, he's disguised as her.
Yeah.
And then he attacks him, saying, "Oh, you didn't tell me everything.
Okay.
You lied to me." Right.
Okay. No.
But he escapes, and so there's still this shapeshifter character that's out.
Yeah.
And so there's probably some interesting, development that's going to happen with him, I imagine.
Yeah.
But that was interesting, and then you have her friend, the elf, who is now kind of turned away from her because.
See, I wonder how long it's supposed to be for her running away. They're not giving me a complete. You know what I mean? Because it seems like they got really close.
Right.
We're family now. You know what I mean? Like it.
Right. Well, of course, then you got. I imagine even then you're talking about maybe days or a couple weeks. I mean, if you're on the run with somebody else, I can imagine that type of situation. You would form a bond quicker.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's hard to judge.
I just wonder like how the Forest is playing with time too. You know what I mean?
Maybe. That's the thing. That is the thing about this. Like the second half of this series so far is really time disorienting.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of jumping around and we don't know exactly the full scope of the plot yet.
Yeah, for sure.
And so anyway,
is there anything else we want to talk about in this episode that was vital? I mean, we had the Golden Dragon.
The Golden Dragon was cool. We had the different parties of people that were going after dragons, so you get introduced to other races of people in this world that were really fun.
And so the biggest thing is we find out what is that the wish. So we don't. I don't mean maybe but like in this episode we're finding out that Geralt and Yennefer are bound by they were
connected by the wish that he made at the gym that you couldn't see you couldn't actually hear what he was saying.
Right.
And so it was, I don't know what the specific wish was, but it seems to be a wish that connected them in a way that saved her from being hurt by the djinn. So
yeah, for sure.
And then that's a big turning point for their story.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm really curious to see where it goes from here. I hear that this series as a whole winds up ending off with making you want more. So I just hope they don't make us wait that much longer.
Yeah, I know.
No
for
Netflix,
sure.
It'll be another year.
So everything's been really cool so far. I'm trying to think if there's anything else major. The only thing that really I thought was hilarious was the knight, the valiant knight who was an idiot. For kingdom and country or country and honor. I don't know. But then he kills an innocent beast. Over just idiotically.
Yeah, and I guess they never really said who murdered him. I'm guessing it was the dude trying to kill.
Yeah. I think that's what it alluded to. So
anyway,
that was fun. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, like
episode
and subscribe,
6.
do the stuff.
Yeah, and we'll see you for the next one.
Absolutely.